All right, welcome to Life Extension Live. I'm Dr. Mike, and that is
Dr. Crystal.
Dr. Crystal. Sleep is a major issue, as you know, and one key nutrient that people take is melatonin.
Yeah.
But doesn't quite always work, right?
Yeah, well, we're all individuals. Some people, melatonin is great. And for others, like myself, I take it. I don't necessarily feel like it makes me sleepy.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I'm sure my sleep quality is better, but I use other things.
You use other. So for me, I use melatonin. Works great for me. A lot of people don't use it because of grogginess.
Yeah.
And another reason are vivid dreams.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of like the vivid dreams, so I sleep well and I got cool dreams. So anyways, but at the end of the day, you got to sleep. And if sleep's an issue and melatonin's not working for you, we have to get you on a regimen, a routine that's going to help you sleep. Because at the end of the day, if you're not sleeping well, you're not going to be well.
That's right.
So on today's show, we're going to talk ultimately about melatonin alternatives, right? And we're going to compare those alternatives to melatonin. And then we have some other sleep hygiene tips as well. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to make it clear, as I said, I take melatonin. This is not an anti-melatonin show.
Absolutely.
Right.
If melatonin is working for you, you should still take it. Melatonin is an anti-aging nutrient. We know that levels decline as we get older. It's great for immune function, bone health. So many, of course, sleep. It regulates your sleep-wake cycle. So it's certainly something that I think should be an add-in.
Yeah. And it might be your first try. Like if you're having sleep issues and you've never had sleep issues before, melatonin might be your first go at it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a lower dose. You can do a 0.5 milligram, something like that, 1 milligram. The average dose is somewhere between 1 and 3 for most people. I do 5. Don't start at 5. You're going to get some dreams. But, starting at a half a milligram might be the best thing. And if it doesn't work, that's why we're going to talk about the alternatives today. Now, so let's get into this. Let's move melatonin out of the way for a second, Dr. Crystal. And let's talk about just sleep in general, getting ready for sleep, what we call sleep hygiene.
Yes.
Let's go through some of these. And I like the way it's phrased, sleep hygiene, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it because it is important. And not doing these things could be why you can't sleep.
That's so true. People often gravitate towards what can I take? What can I add in? And they're missing the basics, like making sure the home is cool, making sure that you start winding down as it gets later in the night, meaning let's lower the lights.
Right.
Because
bring the lights down a little bit.
Bring the lights down, maybe put on a nice scented candle, maybe even some incense or some essential oils. How about turning off the TV?
Yeah, TV, phones, tablets.
All of those.
At least 1 to 2 hours before you go to sleep.
1 to 2 hours. They are giving you blue light.
Yeah.
That blue light blocks melatonin. Yeah. So why would you take melatonin and you're not
blocking
doing the things that's supporting the body's natural production?
Yeah, I think, I see this in my son, and your kids quite aren't at that age yet, but so many people, we go to sleep with our phones.
Oh yeah, it's like right there.
It's right, like literally. And one little ding, what's that? Yeah, you got to put all that stuff away. I like that you brought up a cool room. There is research that shows the colder the room, often the better the sleep. Yeah. So keep that in mind. Make sure you're following these sleep hygiene. Oh, by the way, you for lowering the lights, you can actually buy lights, bulbs that are on timers now.
Very true.
Yeah, and you can mimic the sun coming down and lower those lights. Nice. So you're not having to do it yourself.
So we have ours on an app, and my husband controls it. Yeah. I'll be in the room with the kids, and we're wild and dancing. And
then the lights start to come down.
And then all of a sudden, the lights, and it's not a gradual. It'll just be full light to dim light. I'm like, wait, what's happening?
And most of that is probably him done with you guys being so loud. Lights off. So definitely think about those sleep hygiene things. Hey, there's some food you can eat that actually has melatonin.
Very true. So foods, and there is actual melatonin in these foods: cherries, grapes, black pepper.
Yeah. Cherries, grapes, nice evening snacks. I'm not black pepper. You're not going to snack on, but
No, but the cherries and the grapes.
yeah, those are good suggestions. And of course, there's food that doesn't have melatonin, but it has the precursor tryptophan. Everybody talks about turkey. Turkey, you guys, pretty much all poultry has tryptophan. Really, all animal meat has tryptophan. Even eggs. So there are some sleep doctors who are telling their older patients. Did I tell you this?
No.
To eat eggs in the evening, not for breakfast.
Who knew?
Who knew? Yeah, I looked it up. You know how much melatonin's in one large egg? Guess.
I don't know.
75 milligrams.
What?
Yeah, or 75 micrograms.
So
Not milligrams, micrograms. Sorry. That's a good dose.
That's a good dose of melatonin.
Yeah. So even eggs. So consider maybe shifting when you eat eggs.
Something new.
Yeah.
There's Dr. Mike.
So sleep hygiene, certain foods that have melatonin, certain foods that have the precursor tryptophan. But there are some other things too. Believe it or not, that old wives' tale.
Which one?
Warm milk.
Oh, yes. There's something to it.
It's true. When you warm milk, you break up some of the milk proteins, right? And you break up those proteins. They're called milk peptides.
Yeah.
Milk peptides have been studied to induce sleep.
Yeah, my kids love it. They like a little warm milk and honey.
That's great. And you like chamomile tea.
Oh, I love chamomile tea. I just love it. I let it steep for as long as I can possibly let. Sometimes I just keep it in.
Yeah, I do that too. So I keep because I like it. I like it a little stronger.
Yes.
Yeah. If you just do it for 2 or 3 minutes, it's not enough for me. So chamomile. So again, these are great things to try. As a matter of fact, before jumping to the melatonin or before jumping to the alternatives, check your sleep hygiene, snack on some cherries, maybe have your egg at dinner.
Put a little lavender essential oil on your pillow. I do that as well.
On the pillow?
On the pillow.
What, can't you just put it in your perfumer thing?
No, I want it right there on the pillow.
There you go, Dr. Christo, trying all kinds of crazy stuff.
Give it a try.
Yeah, but then there are some targeted nutrients we want to talk about, right? We have what's our list?
We'll talk about ashwagandha, magnesium for sleep, black cumin seed oil for sleep, and we'll kind of compare how they work compared to how melatonin works.
Yeah, so let's first talk about how melatonin works, right? Yeah. And then we'll make that comparison to those other nutrients. But keep in mind, there's never really been any head-to-head studies looking at melatonin versus ashwagandha or melatonin versus magnesium. But what we do have is we have the mechanism of action, how these things work, and that does help you understand how these alternatives are good alternatives.
That's right.
So let's talk about melatonin. How is that working?
So melatonin is blocking, first of all, it's controlling your sleep-wake cycle. And there are melatonin receptors, MT1, MT2 receptors. MT1 in particular, when melatonin binds to that receptor, it inhibits a protein called orexin.
Yeah, orexins.
Or those orexins.
Yeah, that's a big thing in the industry right now.
Oh,
studying
it's really
orexins.
big.
Yeah.
The researchers are studying it. They're even looking at drug development, new medications that's specifically targeting those orexins. But orexins, those peptides or those proteins, control arousal and wakefulness.
Yeah. They're proteins from specialized neurons, right?
Right.
They mainly, I think, act in the hippocampus of the brain.
Yes.
That's the part of the brain that controls basic function like sleep, right? Sleep and wake cycles. So you have melatonin working on sleep and wake cycles. And one main way that we now have learned recently is it's working through those, inhibiting
those orexins.
Yeah,
so hypothalamus.
Yeah, it works in the hypothalamus. So inhibiting those orexins allow for sleepiness.
Yes.
To kind of set in. And now you're practicing the sleep hygiene stuff.
Yeah, because just
having some cherries.
Very true. When those orexins are around, those orexins are increasing excitatory neurotransmitters.
Yeah.
And we need calming.
We need calming stuff.
We don't need to be in fight or flight mode.
Yeah, which I think you're so on. We are in fight or flight mode That's the sympathetic drive, right? The sympathetic nerve. We're like in it all day, almost 24 hours a day now. We gotta balance that better. So speaking of balancing that, let's look at ashwagandha. And what I want to do, I got a chart or a graph. I don't know what we're gonna call it. Hannah, can you put up that chart? Okay. Everybody take a look at this here.
Okay.
So you got orexins in the middle. Orexins, are those proteins from neurons that work in the brain to keep you up, get you moving and grooving, okay? On one hand, melatonin inhibits orexins through a specific melatonin receptor called number 1. Not that fancy, just MT1, right? So melatonin does have a direct effect on inhibiting orexin so you can become sleepy. That's moving down to that bottom box, right? But look at ashwagandha. It's a good alternative. Now, ashwagandha doesn't directly affect orexins, right? But ashwagandha raises GABA, that calming
neurotransmitter, not the fight or flight neurotransmitter.
Yeah. We're just bringing everything down.
Relaxing. Chill.
Yes. And GABA does, and I think there's 2 forms of GABA, GABA A, GABA B, and I do think it's GABA A. We might want to check that, but GABA A does inhibit orexins to kick in sleepiness.
Yeah, and then ashwagandha also helps helps to normalize your stress response as well.
Yeah, so that's a great chart. So right there, ashwagandha is going to be a nice alternative to melatonin if you can't take melatonin.
Just to calm things down a little bit.
Let's go on then to the one that I don't know. I was surprised by this.
Okay.
Black cumin seed oil specifically. I've talked about this mostly for inflammation.
And immunity.
Immunity, inflammation, black cumin seed oil, allergies, arthritis, stuff like that. But now you're telling me there's some sleep stuff.
It's reducing levels of cortisol, again, that fight or flight, the main fight or flight hormone, and orexins.
So it is affecting like ashwagandha and melatonin.
Both of those. And when we say black cumin seed oil, a lot of people, they just know it as black seed oil. But what we're referring to is black cumin seed oil extract standardized to thymoquinone.
Yeah, I think like 5%.
About 4% thymoquinone, which is the active constituent. This is just a novel form of the black cumin seed oil where we know we have a standardized amount of that active component. And that is where we have that research to help to promote sleep.
I have it right here. This is the research, a randomized double-blind. This is what you were talking about, right?
Yes.
A randomized double-blind trial revealed that 200 milligrams of black cumin seed oil, standardized to the 4 to 5% thymoquinones extract, they were given it every day for 90 days. And the individuals self-reported significant improvement in sleep quality index scores. And basically, they're just answering survey questions about how their sleep is before, during, and after the study.
Yeah.
And after that 90 days, the black cumin seed oil group, significant improvements in sleep.
Yeah, would you like for me to go over some of those sleep index
scores? Go for it. Yeah, sure.
So sleep quality, so important. Not just because we know a lot of the medications, they make you sleep, but you have poor sleep quality.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the prescription.
Right, the prescription medication.
They don't really, they just knock out all the cycles of, because you go through stages of sleep, right?
Right.
And you want to go through those stages. Yes. And some of those strong drugs, it's just deep. There's nothing else.
Sleep.
Yeah.
So helping with sleep quality, sleep latency, that's the time to fall asleep after going to bed. So if you get in bed and you find 30 minutes. That's my husband. Oh no, an hour has gone by. I'm still not.
And now you start getting anxious.
Right. So sleep latency, sleep duration, sleep efficiency, which is the ratio of total time asleep versus total time in bed, sleep disturbance, and daytime dysfunction.
And so they measured all of that in this study. And these participants, in the placebo group, in the black cumin seed oil group, they took this before, and I think they took it at some point during, and then at the end of the study. And that's where they saw in 90 days those significant
Yes.
improvements.
And then we also have some objective data, which is what we liked in this study. And then Kathleen, we see your questions, so we'll definitely address those. But the objective data, we always like, they took salivary samples and they measured melatonin. Melatonin levels were higher, cortisol levels were lower, and they measured those orexins.
I'm thinking I thought you were a big ashwagandha fan.
I'm black human.
Yeah, I think you're switching.
I've already switched. Done and done. Black.
No, wait, but ashwagandha is good too.
Ashwagandha is good too, but when I tell you, I love the objective data. I love the sleep parameters, and I already had Black Human on deck for my knee, so to support this, my ability to kick the soccer ball.
It does help with that as well. See that
Right?
what's interesting thing about a lot of these nutrients. Unlike some of the prescription drugs for sleep. Listen, the prescription drugs for sleep, that's all it is. Knock you out, you're done. It's not even good quality sleep. But these nutrients, they're working with your body. They help your body, melatonin included, go through these stages of sleep better. Plus you get these other benefits like lowering inflammation.
Being able to kick the soccer ball.
Being able to kick the soccer ball. Melatonin is just a powerful antioxidant in the brain. Ashwagandha has thyroid effects. So you get a bigger bang for your buck.
That's a good point.
With some of these nutrients.
Now let's get to Kathleen's question. And any comments on using CBD products for
there
sleep?
it is.
And then the other question.
She's just happy.
Yes.
She's just happy.
She's happy about the sleep quality. Thank you, Kathleen.
Yeah, and look she's never thought of black cumin sleep, black cumin
and
for sleep.
And she's
either.
used it as well, Kathleen. Same here. So, so the CBD, that's the question.
Yeah, CBD and sleep.
I don't really have, I haven't seen clinical studies, validated clinical research with the CBD on sleep. So I really can't provide any comments.
Yeah.
It's a gray area right now.
It's a gray area. So there are some small studies on pain control, maybe a little bit on sleep and stuff like that. Maybe those are positive. But Kathleen, there's really no large clinical trials at this point. But here's the thing. If you're having problems sleeping and you come and tell me you tried CBD and it's working, go for it. I'm not going to tell you not to do it if it's working for you.
Yeah, I would just say make sure you are using a dispensary, ask for the certificate of the analysis.
High quality product.
If you're going to go down that road, but just know that the research hasn't really caught up to a lot of the hype.
Yeah, and so why not at this point go where the research is? Ashwagandha, black cumin, try melatonin if you haven't tried it. I mean, these are well tried and true, nutrients.
Where we have the clinical data.
Yeah. So, and you did mention the black cumin did affect your orexins, right? We did say that.
Yes, it reduced orexins.
What about magnesium?
Oh, that's another favorite. Now that is one where tried and true. It's a fan favorite with my family, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with magnesium. So the question is, any head-to-head studies, Dr. Mike?
To compare to melatonin, no head-to-head studies.
We don't have it. And that's what people are asking, how does ashwagandha compare? How does magnesium compare? We can only talk mechanism of action.
Yeah, and look at that comparison.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we know that the magnesium is working in a couple of ways. One, GABA, that calming neurotransmitter. And it's also an NMDA antagonist.
Oh, you're getting fancy.
So some of you know about glutamate.
You got to explain that.
That excitatory neurotransmitter, glutamate.
Which is very important for life.
Right. We need it.
Yes, but there's a but.
And so the NMDA, that's kind of where that glutamate binds, and it has an excitatory effect in the body.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So this type of protein receptor has been implicated in a lot of neural problems as we get older. Alzheimer's.
Too much excitatory.
So I know it sounds weird. It's like you want to keep your brain excited. You can overdo that, especially when you're trying to sleep. And so magnesium helps to bring down that whole excitatory system.
So just like ashwagandha, magnesium brings about calmness, relaxation. Now, where it differs from melatonin, like if we wanted to compare them head to head, people who take melatonin report that they feel drowsy.
Yeah.
That's why you'll see, do not use
Don't-
heavy machinery.
Don't go
operate-
driving. Make sure you're taking it at night. That kind of stuff.
Exactly. All of those things. Magnesium, you can take it day or night.
Yeah.
If you take it at night, especially a little higher dose, like 500 milligrams or so, at least in my experience, it can help to bring about that sense of calmness, but it just won't make you groggy.
And I think that's a great point. A lot of I think we can say this for all three of them: ashwagandha, black cumin seed oil, different forms of magnesium. These aren't necessarily about knocking you out. It's more about calming. It's more about changing that brain environment to prepare for sleep. So think of some of the sleep hygiene. Mm-hmm. Maybe snack on some grapes at night, get some chamomile tea, maybe warm milk, and you take some magnesium. All of that is working to get you into that place where you can start to fall asleep.
Yeah, so what people want to know, what is the healthiest magnesium for sleep?
Well, okay. And again, there's not, this is a hard question, right?
But people are asking, so we have to answer.
I have my personal.
Okay.
All right. And there is some data to back this up. Magnesium L-threonate.
Okay.
Because we know magnesium L-threonate, based on studies, does get into the brain better than any other magnesium form.
Well, I'll have to, I don't know. I would have to maybe challenge that, Dr. Mike.
Well, you challenge all you want. I take magnesium L-threonate with my melatonin and I sleep like a baby.
Well, I'll tell you what I take for sleep. Magnesium taurate, magnesium with taurine. And here's why.
I may have to challenge that a little bit, Dr. Crystal.
To me, that really seals the deal, does the trick with helping with sleep. But here's the true matter of it all. All of the magnesiums can be helpful.
Yeah, just do one that has multiple forms.
They all can have a calming effect. The taurine version of the magnesium and the threonate version of the magnesium both have data that they can help with that brain effect. Right,
and this brings us to the last point. Trial and error, mix and match, right? What do you think about mix and matching?
I love mix and matching. Dr. Mike knows. I try a little bit. And
you just do everything. You're not mix and matching.
Okay. So when I say mix and match, I add them all in, especially, and it depends on the day. And I guess when I say mix and match, it depends on what my day was like. If I feel like I have a lot on my mind, I'm trying to get to bed, and I just can't calm things down. That's
ashwagandha. That's great. Ashwagandha is great for that racy.
There you go, right? And then other times where, like the night before a big show, I always said, like Tuesday nights, I said, okay, I just need a good night's
Black
rest.
cumin.
Black cumin's every day.
Oh, every day.
That's when I do the magnesium.
Okay. Yeah.
Plus, if I need a good bowel movement, plus I need to be calm.
Well, we did say they do more than sleep.
Look, Dr. Mike, I'm telling you, I've said, okay, I need to look slim and trim. I don't want to be bloated, and I need to sleep. So that's when we say mix and match.
Yeah, but let me say, okay, but you're a professional supplement taker.
I know.
Like you're like way high at a level most people aren't. Here's what this is what I suggest,
okay.
and this comes from my clinical background.
Okay.
You can't just start with everything because then you don't really know what's working. So step one is if you're new to this, if you've never tried melatonin, I would start there. Along with, and I'm making the assumption you're following the sleep hygiene rules.
Good point.
Right? You're following sleep. So we're assuming that. Start with a low dose melatonin. See how that works for you.
About what, 3 milligrams?
A half a milligram to 1 milligram to start. And then do this. If it's not quite, maybe it helped a little. Don't do anything yet. You want to work it up to 3 milligrams. Work over maybe 2 weeks. You work it up to 3 milligrams and you let that go for a few days. If that's not helping you at that point, maybe it's time to try something else, right? But here's the thing. You can't just start throwing in a bunch of stuff. Keep that 3 milligram melatonin and now add to that ashwagandha. Yeah, because most people, it's the racy brain stuff. So I think that's the second choice, and see how that goes. And then you can try others like, maybe magnesium, whatever. But go step by step. Have a like a set pattern you're following. Because if you just do Dr. Crystal's way, she has no idea what's working. She's confused.
Yes, I do. When I wake up the next morning and I feel refreshed, that refreshing sleep, that there's no better feeling. And I'm ready to take on the day. I'm ready to come here, Ellie, live.
Yeah, you must have had a good last night.
I did. I just stopped.
Well, I know, absolutely. Sleep is critical. It's not, it's not just about repair. It's not just about brain health. It's overall well-being. I mean, sleep is part of a healthy life.
It's one of our pillars.
Yeah, it is. And when we talk about aging and stuff, good night's sleep is an anti-aging pillar, right? So figure out what works best for you. And we actually have a nice blog, right?
Yes, we do. It's called, let's see, where am I?
It's at there it is, lifeextension.com/best sleep.
The blog is 10 melatonin alternatives for sleep. We went over about 3 or 4, but there are many more.
Yeah, check that out, and let us know how things work for you, right? Yeah. Let us know. We'd like to hear from you. I want to thank you for joining us today. Don't forget, we go live every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern time. Like, share, comment,
subscribe.
Interested button.
Or press the interested button.
But you know what? We go live on a lot of different channels, and they're all different. So whatever it is, ring the bell. Press the ding dong button. I don't know what it is on all those different channels, but whatever it is, go ahead and subscribe. Click interested so you always know when we're about to go live, 12 noon Eastern time. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Dr. Mike, and that is
Dr. Crystal.
We'll see you next time.